What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first official Fittwave podcast. We have people listening from all over the world. We want to thank all of our listeners from our previous podcast at WPB Consulting. You can check us out on Instagram if you're interested in coaching. But our mission is to bring clarity to coaching on our coaching podcast. And we have helped over 1,000 individuals lose weight, build confidence, improve their lifestyle. But today, this is our Fittwave first official podcast, and what our mission is to connect others culturally, bring them the best health, wellness, and fitness to their lifestyle. And we have a special guest for you guys today. Miss Caitlin, she is the founder of the Earth Lodge in Guatemala. She's going to be our special guest today. And then you're also going to hear from myself and my co-founder, Bobby. The three of us have traveled the world, done some crazy things, and we really want to get into things here today. The big topics we're going to talk about is Caitlin's going to talk about how she built her business, how it's led to community culture. You guys can follow her on Instagram. It's awesome. We're going to talk about our mission with Fittwave and our sustainable wellness experience, connecting others through, like we talked about, community connection and culture, and then more travel details. But it would be a really, really amazing thing if you guys could share, and give us a review on our podcast. But without further ado, let's have Caitlin introduce herself. So let's tell us about who you are, Caitlin, and let's get rolling.
All right. Thanks, Austin. Hello, everybody. Well, I'm super excited to be on the first podcast of Fittwave. This is crazy exciting. So yeah, my story, I am the owner of Earth Lodge. It is a treehouse, boutique hotel, retreat center, organic avocado farm, spa, and restaurant in Guatemala. It's a mouthful. But I came to own Earth Lodge 6 months ago. But my life was much different before 6 months ago. So kind of rewinding a little bit. Back before I was the owner of Earth Lodge, I was working, hustling in corporate America. I was living in beautiful Laguna Beach. I was chief marketing officer for a large international fitness franchise company. So I was bringing my passion for my professional passion for marketing and my personal passion for fitness together. I was helping change lives, making people more healthy, living close to the beach. Life couldn't be better. And then I went on a yoga retreat to Costa Rica, did some inward thinking. And on that retreat, I realized that although I was really good at what I was doing, it wasn't getting me out of bed in the morning. So I called my parents. When I come back, I'm quitting my job without a plan.
I love it.
I know, right? And my parents, God bless them, were just like, okay, how can we support you? Parents of the year, for sure.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Well, luckily for me, Guatemala has always been my second home. My brother is here. He is a teacher. My parents have a winter home here. So the obvious choice when quitting one's job is to go live in your winter home and figure it out. So I pulled on all my belongings, packed a couple suitcases and my little puppy, and moved myself down to Guatemala without a plan. And for 6 months, I was just living the good life. I was mountain biking and running and hiking and exploring and eating delicious, healthy tropical fruits and just living my best life down here in Guatemala. But I'm a go-getter, and about 4 months in, I was like, all right, enough of this. I need to figure out my life. And so I knew that Earth Lodge was for sale. So Earth Lodge has been operational for 18 years. It had been a backpacker kind of party place before on the mountain. And one morning I woke up, and I don't know why I woke up thinking this, but I just literally bolted out of bed and was just like, I need to think about Earth Lodge as what I should be doing. And I called my dad. He's my business consultant in all things. And I'm like, Dad, just hear me out. This is a crazy idea. And I told him my spiel. And after I was done, he was just like, well, I don't think it's a crazy idea, because I literally, when you were calling me, was dialing your number because I woke up this morning with the same random idea in my head.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
whoa.
my God. That is insane. Oh my gosh.
Craziest thing ever. Sometimes the universe gives you subtle signals. This was blinking neon lights.
Oh
That's
my God.
amazing. That
Yeah.
really is.
So it took a little while, but we bought the property as a family, and I've been up here completely changing the model of the business from a backpacker party hostel into what it is today, and infusing my mission, my passion, and my values into Earth Lodge to kind of rebrand it and to revolutionize what it is into a place where people can pursue joy and wellness is my mission. So that's kind of how I got here, and that's the intro to my story.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is amazing, and we definitely want to get into this and dig into this a little bit more. But wow, like talk about like an eye-opening experience, like almost like third eye-opening experience. You know what I mean? Like just being like, well, all right, we're gonna do this. But what gave you? Let's kind of dig into that real quick, real deep. What gave you like the bigger insight of like, hey, like this calls to me so strongly, or was it just like an like you said, overnight thing? Like, did you feel like this was what you felt like you were born to do? Like over years of time, or walk me through if this was just like, well, I'm just burnt out with things and I just want to like
Mm-hmm.
restart and reset. Like walk me through that.
Yeah, when I was on the retreat in Costa Rica, I was in the position of being a guest in an amazing place where it was an amazing facility in
Mm-hmm.
nature. They were
Mm-hmm.
providing healthy food. They were wonderful hosts. And as me being a guest there, I was really able to work on myself and live my best, most well life. I was eating well. I was exercising. I was getting sun. I was having time to reflect and think. And I thought to myself, I would love to provide this for other people. And I really envisioned myself, like when I said to my parents, I'm quitting my job, in some way, shape, or form doing that. And at the time, I was like, oh, maybe I'll lead retreats because I am also a CrossFit coach, a cycle instructor, a yoga instructor, a kickboxing instructor, like all these things. So I was like, maybe I could be leading retreats. So I hadn't quite formulated exactly what that was going to look like. But being a guest and having someone else provide me a space and the tools and a resource for me to be able to like live my most well life was really life changing for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm a great marketer. I'm great with people. I'm great at organizing. Great with fitness, obviously. And I'm like, I think I could do this for other people. Now, at the time, I didn't imagine it was going to be owning like a giant property in Guatemala, but the idea was planted. And so when I started thinking about Earth Lodge, yes, it was kind of like an overnight aha moment, but I had a lot of contemplation between then and actually purchasing the property as to like, is this really what I'm meant to be doing? Do I have the tools and resources and knowledge to do this well? And the answer was yes. Like I was still scared of doing it. I was like, shit, I could really fuck this up.
Yeah.
But they say that, if it doesn't scare you a little bit, it's not worth doing. So there was a lot of contemplation, but when I originally had the inspiration of quitting my job and doing something different, it was to provide people with the same sense of wellness that I was being able to experience there in Costa Rica.
Yeah. And let's kind of talk about too the transition. I know you talked about it being a backpacker destination party place to now all things wellness, right? Like living your
Mm-hmm.
best wellness life. I think like traveling specifically for Bobbi and I, that's something that we talk about a lot is like what's the community look like, what's the culture look like. So walk us through like how it started to now where you're at, and walk us through like how that process is going for you.
Yeah, so it's only been 6 months. And like sometimes I am like, oh my gosh, things aren't going fast enough. But then I like pinch myself and I'm like, hey, it's been 6 months and you've accomplished like a crazy amount of changes.
Sure.
So basically, what I did is I thought about it and I thought to myself, when I travel, I want to be well still. I'm not out there to party and, gain a bunch of weight. I want to experience culture. I want to do fun things, but I also want to feel good. And I want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself mentally, physically, and spiritually. And if I'm traveling, what resources and tools do I need to be able to do that? And that's how I formulated like what changes need to be made here at Earth Lodge. So some of them were aesthetic, I did remodels to the restaurant and all of the cabins and tree houses, but a lot of them were service oriented. So I brought in an amazing chef And we work together to create this menu that's nourishing, but it's not like just for the yogis who want to have a salad. It's for every type of person, you know, someone who just like crushed a 12-mile volcano hike, something nourishing and delicious and filling, to light fruit and nourishing granolas made with local superfood ingredients, right? And everything in between. So I brought an amazing chef, and the food was a huge focus. But also services are a huge focus, because when I'm traveling, of course, part of the fun of traveling is doing crazy fun activities, hiking a volcano, going paragliding, seeing the culture, right? But in between all that, I personally like to make sure I have the resources to feel really good. So that means workout facilities, yoga classes, but also the spa. So one of the big changes I made is I built a brand new spa. We have a sauna, we have ice baths, we have, I really don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this, I like plucked the best massage therapist in Guatemala,
Nice.
and I have her at my spa. And they offer red light, infrared therapy, lymphatic facials, just like everything you need to feel really, really good. So that was the basis of the changes I wanted to implement, you know, what we put into our body, what we do with our body, making sure that the set and setting is beautiful, relaxing, everything that you need to feel good.
I love that. I mean, honestly, that's, you know, Austin and I's kind of mission too with traveling is we want to feel good, which, you know, like you just said, first off means nourishing your body. I want to feel good to go do the activities, and then to rest and take care of myself and be in a safe place where I can work on my spirituality if I want to. So I really love everything that you've done with it. And I really like how you came at it from the consumer approach. You said, this is what I enjoy. This is what I'm looking for. And you really took that into, then this is what I want to provide.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I want to go work out and then come back and then recover and stuff. I think like the lifestyle of like what we do here is exactly that. It's like, we want to have fun, obviously, like that's the number one priority, but also like we want to live a healthy life. And so like Bobbi and I were lucky enough to go to El Salvador in January, and like people are like talk about, they're like, why would you go to El Salvador? I was like, well, they have a lot of like, you can hike, you can go do all of these, like we went surfing in, you know, Surf City and stuff, and we ate like really healthy food. So like what you're doing too, like we're going to visit Caitlin, by the way, for those who are listening, in November. So like, but yeah, we're already hooked. We love like the philosophy almost of like what you're doing and really trying to integrate, because I think that's kind of like something that more and more people are trying to find, right? Like, it's like, how do we find a place that can do all of the things and more, right? And so I think you, like you said, like you provided an amazing service with food first, right? Like, let's say you have like for example, like gluten allergy or something, like where it's like more serious, like you have someone who takes food seriously and is like, okay, like here's something that we can like dig into a little bit more. But amazing. And we're gonna keep digging into stuff. But seriously, Caitlin, that's like so cool. But let's talk about travel here for a second. Like, how did you get into like traveling to Guatemala? I know we talked about this prior, but like for the listeners out there, like how did you get like integrated into Guatemala specifically, and walk us through that?
Yeah, so that's a fun question. I'm pretty blessed. So growing up, my family was a very international family. My mom had au pairs that helped take care of us from all over the world, because my parents really believed in exposing us at a young age to international culture. So like, you know, I'm really, really, really blessed. And then once we hit high school, me and all of my siblings, we all had exchange students from Guatemala who came and lived with us.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so probably between me and all of my siblings, we had, I've got to say, 15 different Guatemalan kids who came and lived with my family in Minnesota. And of course, we became very close to them. They're practically like real brothers and sisters. And we would go down on spring break or whatever and visit them and their families. And so being that my family is from Minnesota, anywhere where it's pretty cold, a lot of people are familiar with like the term like winter birds. So it's pretty common when you live somewhere cold to have somewhere like a cabin or a house somewhere like warmer, Florida, Arizona, whatever, to visit in the winter. So since my family has such a community here in Guatemala, the obvious choice for my parents was to have their winter home in Guatemala. So then we started traveling more frequently to see our Guatemalan sisters and brothers and families. And so I came down here many, many times. And actually, one of my brothers, he has been living here for over 5 years. He's a teacher down in Guatemala. So after that yoga retreat, when I quit my corporate job without any plan, it was the obvious choice to call my brother up and say, hey, so just so you know, I'm coming to visit you with no plan for when I'm leaving.
I love that. Like, oh my God, like that inspires me in so many ways. Wow, that's incredible. So obviously like a large experience with like international travel and things along those lines. One thing that I think that I want some listeners to kind of like get into kind of like what it's like in experience traveling to your location. Walk us through like specifically like how people get to the Earth Lodge, like what does that look like, and walk us through that a little bit more in depth.
Sorry, can you say that again? I'm trying to get the weed whipper to stop. This is part of the life in the jungle. We've got like the guys out here like weed whipping and controlling the jungle so it doesn't overgrow the
That's
resort.
Okay. So like what I was just asking is like, so let's say you have someone who's like hearing this podcast and is like, yes, I want to go visit the Earth Lodge. This is an amazing opportunity. Walk us through like how they get like set up with contacting you and getting into or to the location, like travel wise.
Yeah.
Is it pretty easy for people?
It's actually super easy. So a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, Guatemala is like so exotic. It's really hard to get to. And there are totally places in Guatemala that are very difficult to get to. But luckily for me, Earth Lodge is right outside of Antigua. So Antigua is like the #1 most visited destination in Guatemala. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Center. It has a ton of culture, super safe. I mean, like people even come on like the cruise boats and like take a 2-hour drive to get to Antigua because it's so like safe and beautiful. And so Antigua, it's like the main town that we're near, and it's about an hour's drive from the airport. So super easy. People just hop on our airport transfer. They get to see a little bit of Antigua, and then they drive up the mountain. So like we're 15 minutes uphill on a mountain from Antigua. So we like to say, like my like little like marketing phrase is like stay in Antigua, escape to nature, because like, you really can see all the cool things in Antigua and in the Antigua area, but you're on a mountain. We're here in the jungle. It just so happens that we're only 15 minutes from Antigua.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Like the ultimate escape of being like surrounded by nature and then involved in like health and wellness. And you guys have an amazing chef. I've seen like your Instagram pictures and I'm like super hyped to eat all the food, especially avocados. Like that's the other thing too. So very, very cool stuff. So let's talk about specifically like your location, like what you have to offer. Like, do you offer like different packages for people for staying, like different events? Like walk us through if like we're like, hey, like we're a listener, we want to like be involved in all of these like different like wellness opportunities. Like how does a guest go about like looking into that?
So I'm a real fan of like waking up in the morning and being like, what am I in the mood for? So we keep it really flexible.
Totally.
So like some guests are not like me and they like to reserve things ahead of time, which is great.
Sure.
But basically like guests can reserve things ahead of time, but a lot of people just show up and we have this like book of all the things and they're like, oh, this is cool. I want to do this today. So yeah, when guests book, usually they just book the room or the cabin for as many nights as they're planning to stay. And once they get here, they kind of solidify their plans. So the things that they can do, of course, every day we have a yoga class, and guests are also able to use our facility anytime for like workouts. We have like workout equipment. So that kind of takes care of like your initial like, okay, take care of my body. But outside of that, we have like literally adjacent to our property, amazing hiking. Like we're so blessed. I go on trail runs in the morning and it's just like, you're just like cleansed by nature. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So we have hiking. We also have all the spa facilities. So booking a massage, booking a sauna, my favorite is like the sauna ice bath combination, obviously hot cold therapy. We also have a lot of cultural things too. So like the girls who work in our kitchen, they're all from the local village, and they offer like tortilla making classes, so you can learn how traditional tortillas are made. But we also work with a lot of partners to facilitate other like really cool adventures. So we work with the area's longest standing tour operator for the volcano hikes. So you can do a day hike or an overnight hike of the volcanoes. I also do organized paragliding. That was like a big thing for me. It was like a fear. And I was like, I'm going to conquer this fear on my next birthday. And I did it. And it was like super fun paragliding over the lake. So we basically, like, my philosophy is like, I love Guatemala, and I want to make sure that whoever visits Earth Lodge has an amazing time. So I love, and my staff loves, like helping coordinate travel plans and trips. So like, if people come here with like absolutely no plans, they're totally fine. We'll make plans for them.
You're inspiring me to book a more recent trip than just November. But no, I think that's really, really cool that like you offer all of these services all in one place, because I think like that's the thing is that's what we're trying to do, is really trying to provide like what is a central location where you have trusted people versus just being like, well, I guess TripAdvisor, like, you know what I mean? Like TripAdvisor is great or whatever you use, but it's like having everyone by a trusted source all in one place is really, really cool. I'm interested to kind of understand. So obviously 6 months of hard work and really putting in some amazing effort. Like, congratulations, by the way, this is really cool.
Thank you.
What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned in this like experience within the first 6 months? Because let's say we do another podcast, I'd love to know like what's the year outlook, you know, like what are some of these lessons? So
well, the number one lesson is for sure just like test and like try things. Some things that I thought were going to be like huge hits were like total flops, like wah wah. I'm like, what? That was going to be so cool. Why didn't people like it? And other things that I was just like, oh yeah, maybe a few people will come, were like crazy big hits. So like the number one lesson for sure is to assume nothing and to try everything, because you just don't know. And like to accept that like when some things don't like quite go right or aren't a huge win, so that's okay. It's just a lesson learned and you move on. So yeah, try everything, assume nothing.
I love that. Bobbi, what do you think? Like, would you say that like with us, that's something similar that we've definitely gone through? I mean, I would say that, but I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's really good mindset to go into it in as well. Like you said, is don't assume that people are going to love things and not like other things, right? We're all different people. We all have different human experiences on this earth. So provide different experiences and see what works, trial and error, and be open to new things. Like you said, you know, that's my biggest thing is like put out there what we want, but then be open when the universe gives us something different.
Yeah, right. I love that. So let me ask you this, Caitlin, let's talk about specifically, like you just mentioned, like the yoga, like in the morning type, like routine. Do you lead that, or like who leads that? Like what goes on?
Great question. So this kind of delves more into like my business plan, I guess. But so Earth Lodge is really cool. The chicos and chicas who work here are from the local village, but the staff that works the restaurant and the bar, they're volunteers. So I actually have on property usually between 6 and 8 international volunteers from all over the world. They're bilingual, and it's an exchange. So in exchange for 30 hours of work for me a week, they get a free cabin in paradise and free, amazing, healthy, nourishing food, access to all the classes and spa facilities. So it's like a totally amazing trade. A lot of my volunteers, like originally, I'm going to stay for 6 weeks, and then they're here for 6 months. But those volunteers, we also make sure that at least half of them are yoga teachers, and we vet them. They, submit videos of the yoga classes beforehand and everything, because I'm very particular about making sure yoga is like top notch. So the volunteers are the ones that teach yoga. I teach occasionally for special events. I've been teaching for over oh gosh, 12 years now. I've been teaching yoga. So now I teach more for like special events, like when we're having a big event, or like next month I'm teaching yoga at like a music festival with like a live DJ. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So, but yeah, our teachers are like these amazing human beings who travel the world teaching yoga, and we get to have them here with us for, you know, between a couple weeks, a couple of months. So the instructors are constantly rotating, but they're always like super top notch. They're amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. Talk about like having a world-class experience and literally having like world-class like practitioners who are doing, you know, specifically like yoga.
Exactly.
Well, I want to know now, like kind of like dig into this. What are your goals with like expanding or like growing or like that, especially
Yeah.
where you're at?
So my goal is to figure out how to make this model replicable. So there's a couple of key things to the model, right? One of my mission and vision statements is that we're as local as possible, which is it's hard work, right? To be sourcing all of our ingredients, all of our staff,
Mhm.
all of our events and things, you know, our pottery, our dishes, like everything as local as possible. So that's a big undertaking, but it's a key part of my mission. And then the other thing that I would need to do to make this replicable is to make sure that whatever model this model is, it's always instilling wellness and joy, but including the local culture. So here in Antigua, like part of the local culture is the Mayan spirituality and the Mayan nutrition. So including like Mayan ingredients, but also incorporating things like cacao ceremonies, temazcal, which is the Mayan sauna,
Mhm.
temazcal ceremonies, things like that that are like wellness oriented, but also like are really authentic to the local culture. And then, of course, like healthy food and wellness activities that are in alignment with the local culture. So that is kind of like the business model. And the plan is once I perfect the model, to replicate that model in a different location. So not necessarily Guatemala. Maybe it's Peru. Maybe it's South Africa. Maybe it's somewhere in Japan. I don't know.
Mhm.
But the
Mhm.
idea is as local as possible, pursuing wellness and joy and making sure that all the activities are in alignment with the local culture.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Connecting, and that's a part of like our mission is to connect like literally the community with like the culture that's involved. We're
Mm-hmm.
all about that. So like that's
Yeah.
amazing of what you're doing, and I like what you talk about with scalability of being able to be like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
like this is like your pilot or your like flagship program. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
where like you know, like you said, you can work out some of the things and then like get really good at this, but and then
Yeah.
scale based on where you want to go. Because yeah, I
Yeah.
think like you talked about earlier of like growing up for you, like having the international cultural experience. I think that's insanely amazing that you've had that. And I think what we would like to do, like that's the thing for us is like expose other people around the world to these great like connections. Right.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
because I feel like so many retreats or like resorts that you visit around the world, they're amazing, right? They're
Mhm.
gorgeous. You have
Mhm.
amazing food, amazing spa, but I feel like it really like puts you in a bubble and it isolates you from like the local culture. I've been on many yoga retreats where I'm like, well, that was awesome, but I have no effing clue what this country is actually like.
Right.
Um, and I just think it's a shame because there's so many parts of the world that have so much to share and so many things like the culture is so rich and so beautiful and you can have so many great takeaways and experiences. And I think it's such a shame that so many like resorts and retreats put you in an isolated bubble. You know, if you're doing intense healing, intense personal work, of course, that's like a good thing probably.
Sure. Yeah.
But for a lot of us who are doing traveling just to explore the world and have fun, you know, I think that having like a true, authentic taste of culture is so important and so fun.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I think like from personal experience, like I was in, and Bobby can probably relate to this too, but like you were saying earlier about like a resorts, like yes, they're beautiful and they have all these amenities, but like you said, like you just are kind of like, well, like I want to go explore and see a little bit more of like the culture and like where are they getting like you talked about food sourcing, for example, like why would they get foods from the local market versus like, hey, like who knows where they're getting it from, or why are these event, like who's putting on these events? Like that's some of the things that we always look into. But I have that from like going to Jamaica or living like overseas. Like those are things that I've experienced as well. So I totally relate with that. And I love that. So super excited. My last question here, because I don't want to take up all of your time, is like, what excites you the most about the opportunity to connect with these individuals like from all over the world? And what really excites you about where you're moving forward with Earth Lodge? Walk us through that.
Yeah. So I think for me, the most exciting thing is, right, we have, a random guest or a group that's coming and staying with us, and you're chit-chatting and you're talking about things you have in common, wellness, food, their plans. And all of a sudden you start talking about something deeper, or you start talking about their life and their experience. And you just you learn so much about the world. And like my perspective is constantly evolving and changing. And I'm constantly getting new ideas, getting like energy and excitement from other people because they're pumped about what they're doing in their life. I just I'm so blessed that like every day I get to interact with amazing human beings and they're enriching my life. Like I think it's more of a gift that they're giving me by sharing their just excitement for life than me sharing my property with them. Like really, I feel like it's such a gift to have these people just sharing what excites them and what motivates them and gets them out of bed in the morning and what they're doing with their life and all these ideas that they have, because it's constantly expanding and revising like my way of life and what I'm thinking about things and how I'm going about things. And I wouldn't be able to say that if I was, if I wasn't here at Earth Lodge. So it's a big blessing.
Yeah, you're lighting us up for sure. Like, thanks for getting on the podcast, one, but also sharing your like kind of mission and connecting others. Because I think when people listen to this podcast, I think they're definitely going to relate to that, especially with like kind of the same mission of like, hey, like we want to impact other people and like be a part of, like you said, like the gifts you get from other people are like very fulfilling. And if anything, like spill over like theoretically your cup.
Right.
So thank you for like, seriously, thank you so much for sharing that. But last couple things here, what is the best way for people to contact or see you or the Earth Lodge, or what is the best way that they can reach out to you directly?
Yeah, definitely check out our Instagram. The Earth Lodge Instagram is just Earth Lodge Guatemala. And our website is also Earth Lodge Guatemala. Or you can check me out personally on Instagram. I'm the Caitlin Natasha. But yeah, just reach out. Either of those channels are the best two ways of getting into touch with us. I love chatting with random new people. You mentioned Travis earlier in the podcast, and like I like really like randomly just reached out to him, and we started a new friendship.
Let's go! I love it. Yeah. Travis is awesome. He's like in our community too. Like he's like in Colorado Springs, so that's really really cool that he's been able to introduce us to you, and now we get to see like what your mission is. And so I'm sure like connecting with all these people from around the world is going to be even like as you grow, like you said, like if scaling is like the ultimate goal of like going around the world, like this is going to be amazing. So
yeah, I've like literally made like the best new friends by random reach outs on Instagram, and I'm like, let's video chat.
Yeah, let's go. I love it. Cool. Well, it was awesome having you on the podcast today, Caitlin. Is there anything else that you'd like to share for our listeners here today that maybe we didn't talk about today, or maybe there's something that you want to clarify or anything along those lines here?
No, I don't think so. I just, my wish for everyone in this world is that you are waking up every morning and that you're living full of joy and you're living well. So that's my wish for everybody. And if I can help anybody with that, hit me up.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening here today. If you can, like, reach out to Caitlin on Instagram and at the Earth Lodge. And then last but not least, if you have any questions about how we can help connect you with others, please reach out to us as well at Fittwave Official on Instagram or at www.fittwave.com. We're super excited to have you guys listen. And thank you, Caitlin, once again for being on the podcast.
My pleasure, and I get to see you guys soon.
Yes. All right.
Thanks, everyone.